2017. Is this doomsday eclipse?
On August 21st, 2017, a rare solar event will turn day to night.
The highly anticipated solar eclipse will fill the American skies from Oregon to South Carolina.
A chance for hundreds of millions of people across the United States to look up and witness what is being called the eclipse across America.
There it is. Here it comes.
The last time a total eclipse appeared across this many states was nearly a century ago. Astronomers and researchers are now preparing for a rare chance to collect data on the sun's outer atmosphere.
It's a phenomenon so powerful, even veteran scientists and eclipse chasers have a hard time putting the experience to words.
When I stood there and actually saw it with my own eyes, it was otherworldly.
Michael Zeiler, an expert in geographic information systems, describes the Great American Eclipse as a scene of unimaginable beauty. He runs a website dedicated to the upcoming event and says a solar eclipse takes place due to sheer cosmic coincidence.
The sun is about 400 times larger than the moon, but the sun is about 400 times further away than the moon. So as a result, they're just about the same size in the sky. And so we have the very happy coincidence that the moon just covers the sun perfectly so that we can see the sun's outer atmosphere, its corona.
The last time a total eclipse swept the continental United States was in 1918, nearly a century ago. Researchers say they plan to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime event.
Solar physicists know that the temperature of the sun's surface is roughly 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But the corona is about 1 to 2 million degrees Fahrenheit. And so that's a big difference. It's counterintuitive that the temperature would increase as you go away from the sun. So there's a big mystery about that.
Zeiler advises skywatchers to enjoy the moment and pay close attention because the eclipse will only be visible for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds before disappearing.
The eclipse travels across the nation from Oregon to South Carolina in 93 minutes. Those 93 minutes gives astronomers the opportunity to take a very detailed look at the sun's corona as it changes and evolves.
During that time, the moon will completely cover the sun so observers can safely look at it directly with the naked eye. However, experts at NASA recommend wearing solar viewing glasses.
People can expect to see the most amazing sight of their lifetime. Not only does the sky suddenly turn dark, about the same darkness as a deep twilight, and that they'll be able to see the planets and the brighter stars. But they'll see where the moon is, the blackest black that they've ever seen in their life.
NASA has posted an interactive map online for viewers to find out what time the eclipse will be observable in its 70-mile path.
And when that happens on August 21st, the first place it's going to touch is right there. At 10:15 and 51 seconds on the morning of August 21st, a Monday, those will be the people that see the shadow of the moon for the very first time. And for 90 minutes afterwards, everyone across this entire continent is going to be hanging on what these people get to see right here first.
It's going to happen. August 21st, 2017.
The Great American Eclipse on August 21st is such an exciting event.
The buildup has begun, and for once, the event, a once-in-a-century solar eclipse, might just live up to the hype.
The entire country can participate. There's never been an event like this in human history.
On that Monday, the moon will completely cover the sun in the sky for a few minutes at each point along a 110-kilometer-wide path across the U.S.
If you want to see the full show, you have to take yourself to the path of totality. If you just want a partial show, then you can just remain where you are and the eclipse will come to you.
Here it comes! Solar scientists want to see the full show. A wide array of experiments on the ground and aloft are aimed at getting better answers to questions like,
what makes the solar corona, the outer atmosphere of the sun, so hot?
Amir Caspi with the Southwest Research Institute says 2 planes 15 kilometers above the Earth will have high-speed cameras trained on the corona, that ultra-hot plasma, which on every other day is obscured by the sun's bright surface.
When the moon blocks out the disk of the sun, we can see things that are a billionth as bright as the surface of the sun, and we can see them right down to the edge of the sun.
One big component of the eclipse observations is citizen science. 70 of these telescopes, operated by schools, libraries, and private individuals, will be trained on the sun while it's obscured. The Citizen Kate experiment will capture high-resolution images of the sun's inner corona all along the path of totality. Research into the corona could help better predict geomagnetic solar storms, which can affect technology in space and here on Earth.
If we can give good weather, space weather forecasting to power grid operators, to satellite operators, to astronauts in space, to airplanes, then they can mitigate around that.
With all the data expected, the sky may be the limit to what's learned on Eclipse Day.
I've been in solar physics, solar science for my entire career, and I'm getting goosebumps. It is going to be fabulous.
Says one expert, it could be the most documented, the most appreciated eclipse ever. Tourists and scientists alike are counting the days.
It will be the first time in 40 years, or 4 decades anyway, since a total eclipse of the sun will be perfectly going across the United States of America.
August 21st, 2017 is a date marked in many calendars.
This is a huge deal when the moon is going to cover over the sun. Now in Cincinnati, it's only going to be a partial eclipse, so only about 91% of the sun's going to be blocked out. But in other places in the country, the entire sun will be totally eclipsed.
It's an event that isn't to be taken for granted.
They're calling it the Great American Eclipse because this is the first eclipse in over practically 100 years that's cut across the continental United States.
Millions of people will travel to places on the map that are in the eclipse's direct path, an approximately 70-mile stretch.
So a lot of our members and a lot of folks from the Cincinnati area are heading south, typically to places like Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Dawson Springs, Kentucky, that area.
And if you are planning on coming outside to witness the historic solar eclipse, experts say it's imperative that you protect your eyes.
You'll need to have either eclipse shades or number 14 welder's glass to look at it. You don't want to stare right at the sun. Even if there's just a little bit of sunlight showing, it can be really dangerous.
The glasses are almost sold out on every major website, and as the masses hit the road, the concern is now turning to logistics.
The other thing we're really worried about is traffic. We're not sure how many people are going to be going on the roads down to these places. It could be this weird traffic jam across part of the country.
But for those who do watch the event, it will be worth remembering.
Well, we haven't had an eclipse like this in the United States, at least the mainland U.S., for 38 years. So it's been a long time since we've had a total eclipse.
The temptation is to go down and take lots of photographs or videos and say, if this is your first eclipse, just go down and view it, experience it, and then worry about the next one in 2024.
Skywatchers across the U.S. are in for a treat. On August 21st, for the first time in almost a century, a total solar eclipse will reach across the country, plunging a strip 70 miles wide into darkness. NASA's Dr. Nicolene Vial says she's excited.
What's super cool is for 2 minutes, all of a sudden in the middle of the day, it goes dark like it's a moonlit night.
Weather permitting, the moon's silhouette will be visible as it passes across the country, from Lincoln Beach, Oregon to McClellanville, South Carolina. And for those wearing safety glasses or using a pinhole camera, the sun's outer atmosphere, known as the corona, will be on full display.
The solar corona is very hot, millions of degrees, many orders of magnitude hotter than the surface below it, the surface of the sun. That's really weird. That'd be like if you walked away from a fireplace and it kept getting hotter. So we want to understand why that is.
A potentially hot day for science and a cool experience for everyone else.
So the Tennessee Valley is full of avid skywatchers, and you will want to mark your calendars for what some are calling the event of the century.
WHNT News 19 meteorologist Jake Reed is here to explain how you can see a rare upcoming solar eclipse.
This really is huge. The total solar eclipse will happen on August 21st, and it's the first time since 1918 the path will cross the entire country. Tens of millions of people will be able to watch the moon completely cover the sun, turning day into night for just a few short minutes. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon completely blocks the sun. This casts a shadow of darkness on the Earth, where temperatures will noticeably drop inside that shadow and planets will even become visible. The path of totality is where the sun will be completely blocked out. The nearest big cities to us in the path of totality are Nashville and Greenville, South Carolina. The sky will go dark in Nashville for about 2 minutes just before 1:30 p.m. on August 21st. The sun will be at least 90% covered in cities like Huntsville, Birmingham, and Atlanta. Now, if clouds or rain were to spoil our viewing, the next total solar eclipse crossing the United States will happen in April of 2024.
Fanned out across the U.S., Eclipse experts will explore and reveal some of the most exciting spots to observe the eclipse this August.
The best place in the country to watch the historic cosmic event is closer than you might think.
NASA says in Madras, Oregon, that is the best chance of witnessing that total eclipse where the sun is completely covered. Our Andrew Dimpert caught up with astronomers and scientists from NASA who paid a visit to Madras to check it out.
The August 21st eclipse is considered a once-in-a-lifetime event. People from all over the world will be coming to this small town of about 6,500 people, Madras, Oregon, to get a glimpse of history, if only for a moment.
The stars come out, the light changes in the horizon.
Clear skies.
It's almost as if sunrise or sunset is happening 360 degrees around you.
Mountains and plateaus.
An experience that you will carry with you for the rest of your life.
And its central location make Madras, Oregon, the perfect spot to watch the great American eclipse.
This will be the best place along the line of totality to view the eclipse.
From coast to coast on August 21st, 2017, a fleeting moment becomes a lifetime memory.
It's a moving experience. You can have people screaming, crying, praying. You can have them all, just depending on how you react to this amazing cosmic moment.
3 years ago, NASA and other world-leading scientists and astronomers chose Madras as the place to set up for this nationwide event.
This is something you'll probably never see again. It's the best thing you can see in the sky in your life.
Today, astronomers thank the community for letting them in by hosting educational events about the sun and stars and the great beyond.
Africa, Australia, England, China, coming from everywhere. People are spending tremendous amounts of money to come to this little tiny town.
Between Warm Springs and Madras, the population is about 17,000. But come August 21st, there could be 250,000 people not only watching history, but making it.
You could be waiting about 375 years for an eclipse to happen.
In the shadow of Mount Jefferson, the tiny town of Madras is bracing for a monumental event. Oregon will be the first point in the U.S. to see the solar eclipse on August 21st, and up to 1 million tourists are expected statewide. Madras is a key destination.
The sun will be coming directly east of here, and the eclipse itself is directly west.
Experts say the high desert location means almost no chance of clouds, and a flat landscape will make it easy to watch as the moon casts a shadow on Earth for more than 2 minutes. But with more than 100,000 people expected in and around a town with a population of just 6,500, logistics can be daunting.
What we've asked our residents to do is get prepared ahead of time. About a week out, get their groceries, fuel up on propane, gas, whatever fuels they need, get their prescriptions, go to the doctor, do what you need to do, and then stay home.
Lisa Vattimo was hired as the town's eclipse planner. She's involved in everything, from bringing in cell towers and shuttle buses for the rural roads, to making sure businesses have enough cash on hand.
Table 4 is out.
The Black Bear Diner expects 1,000 guests a day leading up to the eclipse. Owner Joe Davis says he's ordered 5 weeks of food for 1 week of business.
This will be by far the busiest week and probably double what our busiest week ever has been.
I have nothing for monthly rentals for August. Nothing.
Across town, Misty Cox and her husband are providing nearly 700 portable toilets. They were first contacted by local tourism officials 2 years ago.
They said, we want everything you have. Don't rent to anyone. We want everything you have.
They had to borrow from as far away as Idaho.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Business is also looking up for Christina Carpenter. She and her husband are renting out camping spaces on their organic farm.
Oh, wow.
One taste. Prices start at nearly $1,000 for a 4-day event.
We have about 200 reservations at this point, and I feel really comfortable in doubling that.
And with the majority of tourists expected to be camping, the U.S. Forest Service is worried about the influx during peak wildfire season.
Just driving off-road, having that contact with a hot muffler or a catalytic converter could start an ignition.
First responders are making plans for how to evacuate tens of thousands of people and get fire engines down narrow roads, likely to be at a standstill. Amid all the activity, 80-year-old Darlene Hoffman hasn't lost sight of the wonder. She's one of the few here who has seen a total solar eclipse before, 38 years ago.
It was really something to see. It really was. That amazed me more than anything.
Sharing old memories and creating new ones under the shadow of a Madras moon.
Some people are wondering, is there some type of prophetic revelation that this sign is bringing for America, specifically for America? Is God sending us? Is there such a time as this? Will that eclipse have something prophetically to do with our nation?
Imagine the sea of red on a Husker game day times 5. Solar eclipse followers flooding the state to see a once-in-a-lifetime event. The potential to overwhelm small towns and counties in its path has local law agencies concerned.
Everybody's resources will be tapped because it's going to cross the whole state pretty much.
Gage County Sheriff Miller Gustafson says he's been planning for over a year, ever since he heard NASA designated Homestead National Monument as one of its official viewing sites. Any vacation or days off for his staff that Monday have been denied.
I need to have all hands on deck for something like this.
Concerns about not only increased traffic congestion, but motorists racing across the state to get a better view depending upon the weather conditions.
People that are trying to observe the eclipse, if they're not properly parked, if they're stopping on the interstate.
Gas stations and food services being overwhelmed, as well as cell service in some areas.
What impact will that have on 911 calls and their ability to respond?
Another major concern with so many people camping because of hotels being booked across the state.
Conditions right now for wildfire are very high.
Nebraska Emergency Management is treating the eclipse like a major event, activating its Joint Information Center August 21st, ready to deploy added state resources if needed, including National Guard troops.
I don't think we've had an event from border to border that's going to have this much impact.
And not knowing just how many people will come makes planning for this historic event difficult.
Well, it'd be a lot better from my perspective if I could, RSVPs would really help. That's the biggest problem.
Good morning, Margie. Yeah, many of the schools throughout our area going to be beginning school again, coming back from summer break about a week before this eclipse is happening. And so there's still, a lot of them have still deciding on how they're going to handle class that day. Some canceling classes, some saying they are still going to hold classes. But the school district here in Edwardsville, District 7, the latest in the districts that have said they will be canceling classes that day. The eclipse will be visible across the U.S. when the moon completely blocks the sun for about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. That's going to be happening around 1:18 on August 21st. But people across the St. Louis metro will be able to see the duration of the eclipse from about noon to 2:30 that day. Experts say it's during this time safety glasses must be worn when looking at the sun. Ordinary sunglasses are just not going to cut it. The district here taking the stance that, like any other environmental hazard, including snow, ice, and sub-zero temperatures, the eclipse poses as a hazard to students. Since the district cannot safely dismiss students at any time during the eclipse, the students will have Eclipse Day off and will make up that day at the end of the school year. Dunklin and Windsor districts in Jefferson County also voting to cancel classes that day. So did St. Clair R13 school district in Franklin County, calling Eclipse Day the event of the century. Now, several other schools have already made the decision that they are going to hold class that day, and they are going to make this a learning opportunity for students. Afton, Melville, and Union school districts, along with the special school district of St. Louis County, saying they are going to be providing those special glasses for all of their students and staff so that they can enjoy the eclipse and use it as a learning experience that day on August 21st, that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
The Banner Creek Science Center and Observatory is always looking towards the stars, exploring, learning, and enjoying the pure beauty of the night sky. But on August 21st, northeast Kansas will go dark for just over 2 minutes.
It's very rare in the United States. This one is going to crisscross the United States from the northwest to the southeast.
Mike Ford is a volunteer at the observatory, but has also started up a business for the rare event called EclipseStuff.com.
We're doing it mainly for safety.
Ford's business sells safety glasses so those who want to watch the eclipse can do it without going blind. But they are also making the event more special by offering a day trip to help reduce the amount of traffic predicted to be on the highways.
Probably 75 north is going to be congested, 36 east-west is going to be congested, and so that's why the U.S. Department of Transportation is saying stay off the highways.
Mike's group is selling tickets for anyone to take a bus to an area that will see complete darkness, feed them lunch, have an expert from NASA speak, and provide viewers everything they need to have a safe and memorable experience.
I guarantee you that once you see it, you'll want to keep going to them.
But something like this won't cross the plains for a long time.
It's going to be 7 years, but you're going to travel about 600 miles to see totality.
So if you want to see such a rare event, now's the time to do it, but plan ahead before time's up.
The sun will become, daylight will turn to darkness for 2 minutes. It will be daylight to dark. During those 2 minutes, the sun will become as dark as sackcloth of hair, which is actually prophesied to happen in your Bible in the last days. Now, this isn't the first time we've ever had this event, of course, and it probably won't be the last. But I do want to read to you the scriptures in Joel chapter 2. It says in verse 28, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions, and also upon the servants and upon the handmaidens in those days will I pour out my spirit, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, and blood and fire and pillars of smoke. And the sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and in the remnant whom the Lord shall call." Are you ready for Judgment Day? Or will this be Doomsday? Or is this just another eclipse? Another sign in the heavens? But take a look at America's spiritual condition. Take a look at the situation worldwide. Ask yourself, will there be another total eclipse like this over America again? Ever?